What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Crew 2, and in this video we'll be taking a look at the best plane for skills. Now I feel like this is a really important class because every summit seems to have aerobatics or the low altitude type of skills there, and I feel like they're really important to do. And well, when it comes to the planes, what planes would you guys like to use for these? That would be the best to get the highest score possible in the summit. So obviously I'm hovering over the aerobatic edition planes here, which funnily enough you actually do not need these planes at all for the summits, which is kind of funny. The only way you'd need these is if it was like an event, but in the actual aerobatic skills you can use regular planes, which is kind of funny to me because I feel like a lot of people probably already are doing this, but as you guys know, the regular planes can be used on these skills, and they do an incredibly good job. So I have been running my main plane. I did make a video about the best plane for air races, which is going to be the Edge 540 V3. It's personally my favorite, and this is one of the planes I've been using on pretty much all the skills as well. And the other plane I have been using on the skills is the Harmon Rocket 3. Now this plane is actually very good as well. I know it did get nerfed a while back, but it still performs very well. The handling on it's a little different than it used to be. This thing used to be very, very stable and very easy to control. Now it's a little more wonky and can be a little weird trying to keep it perfectly in the aerobatic type of skills, but it could still be used very, very well for this. So if you guys want to get the Harmon Rocket and the Zivco, you would not be making a bad decision there. I still use the Harmon Rocket for some races and stuff still because this plane is still very, very good. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to jump into two different skills with each plane and talk about this a little bit more. So jumping into one of the aerobatics here with the Zivco. So I did do a video on this plane a while ago talking about how it's my favorite plane to use in air race class, which that is for a good reason because this thing is really, really good. And funnily enough, testing it a little bit on the actual skills, this thing also seems to take the crown here for the most part as well. Not only is it quick, but it's also insanely stable, and that's something we definitely need. When going through these aerobatic type of skills, you gotta be able to turn your plane quickly enough and keep it there in order to get the green arrow there to get the highest points. Sometimes planes struggle a little bit to keep themselves stable when going around turns, and that's something we definitely look for. Is one of the reasons why I highly recommend this plane for this. Now, guys, I'm gonna jump into a low altitude and talk about that. But regardless, guys, if you are doing these type of skills, definitely check out the Zivco because it is fantastic. Now jumping into an aerobatic event here with the lovely Zivco. So how does this thing do on these? Well, first things first, you'll notice that you're gonna have to get very, very close to the ground there and or water, depending on what low altitude you are doing. And sometimes planes struggle a little bit to keep themselves stabilized when close to something like that. I notice like sometimes you have to like keep fidgeting with the plane to keep it in one place when it could just stay there gliding. And that could definitely be a big issue I have noticed doing these. Mainly because, well, if you're trying to get the highest score in these summits, guys, I noticed the skills are a great way to get a score that could be better than some of the races. Sometimes you might struggle on a race, but you do great on the skills. That can definitely help keep you in platinum and get you a higher score. So doing that would be a great idea. Obviously, keep in mind I am also using the score breaker set, is why I have so many points here. Sometimes these low altitudes are in very, very weird places, and having a plane that can handle decently and keep you out of trouble is a great thing to have. I will be covering the Harmon Rocket as well soon and telling about how that plane can also do this pretty well. But I know a lot of people know that the Zivco is kind of on top. I've been noticing this plane in a lot of leaderboards lately, and that's probably for good reasoning because it is insanely good. So jumping right into an aerobatic event here with the Harmon Rocket. So how does this plane do on these? Well, it's pretty good, but I have noticed the stability on this plane is definitely not what it used to be. Mainly because they pretty much had to nerf it, honestly, on what was happening with it before. We all know this plane was insanely powerful. Can it still do these skills with ease? I'd say for the most part. It may struggle a little bit sometimes with its handling. As you know, I'm kind of fighting it a little bit right now. But it can still complete it. So if you do own this plane and you're like, man, I wish I didn't buy this plane, it can still complete these. It just might struggle a little bit. As you see, I'm not getting green on all of these, but most of them. You'll still get a good score, which will probably put you at the highest point of points you can possibly get in the summit skill. And now I'm going to do a low altitude with the Harmon Rocket 3 here to show you guys how this thing does with this. So overall, like I said, this plane can do most of these as well. I just feel like the Zivco might be a better option here. But if you do have this plane, you could still do these with it. I've actually completed many of these still with this plane. It can still do it, but I notice it might give you a little issue sometimes with its handling and how it just feels when flying it. Is it still good? Yes. Does it need a little help after that nerf? Probably. Might need some tweaking on the build there. I have a pretty decent build on mine that keeps it from fidgeting as much, but it still may need a little help there when trying to get good scores on these low altitudes. As you see, I'm not even doing that good on this one. I'm still getting a high score, and that is thanks to the lovely score breaker set there. So if you have a good set there on these planes, it will also help a lot. So as you guys see here, I'm still breaking over 30k, which will easily get you the pretty much the highest score you can get in the summit. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Definitely take a look at the Harmon Rocket 3 and the Zivco Edge 540 for your skills in these summits. 'Cause I have a feeling the new Motor Pass will bring more summits, stuff like that, with new vehicles. And here are the settings I'm running on the Zivco Edge 540 V3. And here are my settings on the Harmon Rocket.